Grant Edwards here from Grunt Trailers. Just delivering this trailer to Drury in Auckland. It's a bit windy up here on the hill, so hopefully you can hear me. I've got my little purple Panda microphone with a little windsock over the top, so hopefully it's doing its job. This is the latest design that we do. It's the removable subfloor for the tiny houses. One of the biggest problems that people find is that when they can't lift the house up and service the trailer or take the trailer in for a warrant. No one wants to take a tiny house into the testing station for a warrant. They're bound to find something wrong, and if you're borderline weight-wise, that's the last thing you want. So yes, all interpretation of the law, I would imagine, with all these people. So these are the jacks. They're a CM Trailers jack. I'm not sure, I think they import them. I'm not sure where they, oh gosh, I've got my shadow in the way. Let's try that. So yeah, here it is. It's a 2.7 ton sidewinding jack. It's very difficult to figure out which is the best way to mount them, but we think we've found a fairly good way. We use a 6mm angle iron, and we put them in between the two cross members here, joists they call them in the building trade, and so we bring them back about 1.8 from the front, and then the other one will go back about there. Yeah, you don't want to put them on the ends. So this, they're pretty good. So CM Trailers put these out. We sell them with the mounts complete for $150 each. That's mounted. And if you just want the mounts and don't want to invest in the jacks, we just charge $30 for the mounts. We actually use a different mount to the one that come with the jack. We think it's a bit more robust. Yeah, so we could put them further under. Instead of having them here, we could actually put them here so you can't see them at all, but it means we've got to extend this jack out, and I don't like the idea of having a big wide, too much leverage on that jack, and they're not designed to have a big long arm on them. So I think this is the safest way to do it. It doesn't look as pretty, but then your house is probably going to come down, and it'll probably come out a bit. So you could paint it a nice colour anyway, couldn't you? And quite often you'll probably have a deck over the top, because your doorways are going to be up here, and so you'll probably have a deck over the top. So this one here, we've used 3.5mm 100 by 50 along the side rail. Then we've used a 4mm on its side and a 4mm for the cross member. All the weight on these trailers is on the outside wall. That's where your bottom plate's going to be secured. So that's why it's imperative to have a good solid rail on the outside where your bottom plate of your building is going to be attached to. So this is how we do it. We leave a bit of an overhang here. Probably the next one I'll make this overhang a bit more so it completely covers those lights. This one's, pardon me, this one's 7.5 meters by 2.4. The client wanted to stay within the total. When she's finished, it'll be 2.55 or under. But of course, these are really popular for people that want to build out to 3.1 or more. But I think 3.1 is a good width. You don't need a pilot. It's a good way to go. So if you're building to 3.1, I recommend that you don't have your frames any wider. That's your house frames and your frames for your trailer any wider than 2.850. That would be the max, because by the time you put all your cladding on and your flashing, and by the time you get your roofing on, you want a bit of overhang. You don't want wind blowing up underneath your iron if you're using iron. Some people use the Metalcraft panels for their roof because they're fully insulated. That's another option. Sorry about this one, it's got mud. It's just come from Waipu all the way down to where are we? Down here, sort of Drury area. Yeah. So yeah, 2.8. But the most cost-effective width is 2.77. I think it is. Yeah, 2.76. That means that we can get 3 of these joists or cross members we can get 3 out of 1 length, because they're 8 metre lengths, so it's more cost effective for you material wise. So remember, all our steel is Australian and New Zealand steel. We don't have any Chinese steel. I'm sure they make good steel in China, but they also quite happy to palm off some rubbish. We don't touch it. I don't think any serious tiny house trailer builder would touch it. We use a 65. There's no way. I've seen these trailers done with 50mm axles. We use a 65mm 4mm. Might actually be 5mm. I think it's 4mm. 65mm. I recommend that your trailer has brakes on all 4 wheels, not just the front. If you're going down a long steep hill, having just the 1 set of brakes on the front axle, I don't think is enough when you've got a full house on here. You've 3.5 tonne. That's a lot of weight, and you wouldn't want this house to push you off the road. It will kill you. So you want to take it very seriously. If it was me, they're under cost. I charge another $500. They cost more than that to put brakes on the back. So it's just for $500, just for peace of mind. And I'm happy to lose a bit of money to see people have brakes on all 4. Now the other thing is, if you've got a trailer that's only got two axle, just the brakes on the front axle, well, we can always just set up do another set of brakes at the back. We can retrofit, do a new axle, and just you can always sell this axle to somebody else for something else, not for a tiny house. Yeah, so it's easy enough, because that's one good thing about having suspension with the bolt-on axles. We can just replace those, and yeah, this is something that David Binion in Levin, he does a lot of trailers for people. This is a design that he showed me, and it's the 100 by 100 by 5mm drawbar, and you see there the cable just goes through back to here. It actually works really well, because it means we can bring the brake cables on the inside and on top of the springs, which is really good. Yes, I'm happy with that. So there it is, and so it's easy to get to if you want to check your wiring or retrofit something. It's all very, very, very good. So easy. Yeah, sorry, when I say good, it's easy to work on. It's not going to be a mess. So any auto electrician will be able to pick up the gist of what we're doing here. This breakaway battery is charged by the cigarette lighter. So we run a cable. I don't go with the Bluetooth. They're very expensive, about $1,800 including fitting. I think that's sort of the going rate that people are charging. We use a cable, solid cable, with big heavy cable, because it's 6 meters long. So it's got to have, with the DC, you get a bit of voltage drop. So we use a big heavy 3-phase wiring cable there for the brakes, and that goes all the way forward to the brake controller, which can go in any vehicle, as long as it's even 24-volt vehicles have a 12-volt cigarette socket, so that's all you need to worry about. And the lighting will go on 12 or 24, so you don't need to worry about that. So it just goes into the cigarette socket. And these ones, they're a Taconcha brake controller. They're absolutely fantastic. Very, very good, fully adjustable. So there it is. Yeah. It is charged by the cigarette socket. So that's fully charged. So when you see there that light, we know we're fully charged. If it's red, you know you've got a problem. And so yeah, so this will just go on any vehicle, and I just leave a tie there for it so it doesn't fall on the road. Run it up through here. This is your breakaway cable, and there's your breakaway switch there. I'm sorry about all the dirt. So it just sits on there, and that'll just pull out. That works well. It's really good. Yeah, we use a Trojan coupling. We find them quite robust. It's a 3.5 ton 1 7/8 ball. We can do a 50mm ball if you require. It's no trouble. We can do that for you. So there it is. And these, this is the upside down truss. I don't know, haven't talked about this before. So it's a pretty good way to go. It means you've got a very light chassis, but very strong, very robust. The other thing we do is we make sure a lot of tiny house trailers I see, they've got a nice banana in them, so they're high in the middle and they're low either end. It's because when they're welding on the axles, the mounts for the axles, slippers and hangers, they put a lot of heat in there and it'll bend. Then when we do the subfloor, it wants to bow up the other way. So when we bolt it all together, we line it up with either a laser or a string line, and we get that spot on for you. So she's square and it's level. Now when you set up your building, this is really important. Just use a 2-ton bottle jacks. You can get them from Super Cheap Auto, and just put one here on blocks and one on this side on the chassis itself. Don't go using the lifting jacks to mount your to level your building. Okay, and then you can put your level across there, and then they're only cheap. They're 2-ton jacks. They're all you need, and so you can just get then put another one here and another one over there, and then you can just get it absolutely spot on. It's really important that you get your trailer absolutely level. So once that's done, then you start. And so you might want to block it up and just use those little wedges, those wooden wedges, to get it right, so in case someone comes along and lets your jack down. That'd be terrible, wouldn't it? And all your water sits in the sink, or won't run out of the shower. So I'm sure it won't be that bad. Yeah, so Super Cheap Auto or Save Barn or Repco, they sell these just little 2-ton bottle jacks. They're light and you can take them with you, and it's so much easier than having corner steadies, because you can use them for your corner steadies as well, because you'll just jack it up and then put a little wedge in, or you can sit them on there if you want. I mean, they're only short, they're probably only 150 mils or not even 200 mils high, but you just put some blocks under there. You can use scissor jacks, but scissor jacks, they can't handle too much weight. And I find the bottle jacks are nice and light and they don't take up too much room, and they've got a multitude of uses as well. So there we are. This is the Grunt Trailers 7.5 metre custom built by 2.4. I recommend the 2.7 because you can always find 2.7 metre plywood. It's always easy to find those, and I recommend those. It's a good size, 2.7. And then you've got plenty of room for overhang to keep you under the 3.1, and so there you go. But remember, the maximum we can build the trailer to is 2.55. And the other thing is too that this particular trailer, the width of the wheels on this one is only 2.28, and that's something to remember. If you're going to have 2 lofts and you're going to build right up to the maximum height, just under 4.3, you really want to go as wide as you can. You want those, so I would recommend you go over dimension and do your trailer to that's the width from tyres to tyre, outside to outside, 2.55, go right to the end, and then make your subfloor 2.7 or 2.760. Okay, this is Grant Edwards signing off. See you next time.